scoreless draw with Alfreton at home, how do you see that one?
Tough to take, but potentially could be a good point towards the last 2 games of the season. I think people from the outside probably look and think, they've got nothing to play for. It's going to be an easy game, but it's never like that. Experienced lads know that, and it's always tough. They kind of still make it hard for you. They're a tough team to play against direct, and we just couldn't find a way. We've had some chances, but as a team we've just got to stick together, and I still believe that we can win the last 2 games and we can get where we want to be.
You mentioned there about being a tough game. Did maybe tiredness play an aspect in the last few games, especially with yourself playing majority of the season?
You can say tiredness, but we've had a good rest. We trained well on Wednesday. I feel like we all look at it and they're in the same boat. We've just got to kind of dig in, and this stage of the season, it's called the business end, and you've got to pick up points, and we've just got to look at that as a point in the right direction, and try and take maximum points for the last 2 games.
The manager and of course one of your teammates for the last couple of seasons made his 100th game in charge today. How was it working with a man like him?
Yeah, he's been great. He's learnt a lot himself. And he's come in, and as a manager, kind of your first job, you might drop off, but he kicked us on, and we had an amazing season last year, and they've built a great team this year, and I know he speaks about the points I think we've beat last year already. It'd be difficult if we didn't make the playoffs, about the points tally, but you've always got to look at that as progression, and he's committed to giving 100%, and all the staff are, and we all want to go in the right direction, and I'm sure he's got many games more in a manager role.
Going in the right direction, as you say, we are still well within the mix of the playoffs, and you say there is a belief there.
Yeah, well, we've got a belief. I think we probably looked a bit deflated today because you want to play at home, you want to win games. We've had a couple of chances and we've been unfortunate. Sometimes you need a bit of luck on your side, but I believe it's you've got to look at clean sheet, and hopefully we can go into Monday now as that being a good point. I believe every team in this league beats everyone. There's still points to be dropped and points to be played for, so hopefully in the next 2 games we can take maximum points and see where we're at after that.
Going off the pitch today, there was in excess of 600 people in the crowd, including a lot of our juniors. How was that for a player to see them in the stands?
Yeah, it's good to see. I think this is my 3rd season now, and I feel like every year the club's progressed in the right direction. There's a lot of good people here, a lot of hard-working people. The facilities are probably the best in the league, and as probably a club, you want to get more fans in. You want to like entertain people and get the support, and kind of it's a nice kind of community family run club, and hopefully we can keep getting more fans in, and keep progressing together as a club.
The focus now turns to the second part of the Easter bank holiday games. It's Farsley away from home. How are the lads and yourself going into that one?
Yeah, we've just got to recover right, do the right things, and like I said, we've just got to stick together and believe. We've got more than a good enough squad. We've got some great players in there, and young, experienced. We've got the right mix, and we've just got to get it right. Going forward and defensively, and hopefully we can get the win on Monday.
Cheers, Will.
Thank you.